We outside. Outside in nature, you know what I'm saying? I'm over at this little park right now, you know what I'm saying? Just chilling, getting some fresh air. That's what we need. You feel me? Yeah, I'm gonna get straight to it. You see the title in the video. It's most people don't know who they are. Most people don't know who they are. They try to figure it out. They go here, they go to Africa, they go to Australia, trying to figure out, who am I? And some people would think that's like a really loaded question of, who am I? Realistically to me it's black and white, but most people is loaded. Most people can't answer that question straight up, And this is one thing I want to really just like bring home. Say you sit down right now. You sit down and ask yourself, who am I? What would you say? I bet you this is the first thing you would say. You would say, my name is. You would say your name. The second thing you would say, oh, my job. You would say, I work doing this. I do this. I do that. Another thing, more common thing that people say is their religion or who they belong to and this, that, and the third. And then probably later on, they start talking about their body and then they're human and all that other stuff. But in real reality, if you really think about those answers, it's like those things really aren't you. You know what I'm saying? Like those things really aren't who you are. Your name is your name. That's what people call you. That's not who you are. Your job is what you do. That's not who you are. Because the job you can pick 100 different jobs. It don't matter. The jobs aren't you. You know what I'm saying? Or like the religion, Christianity, Muslim, whatever. All that stuff is just something that you follow. That's not who you are. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully this ain't, scaring people away, but like, I just want to get more real with it. Cause like, who you are isn't, let me say this, like, who you are isn't these like material things that you can pick up, touch, smell, and all this other stuff. That's not who you are. Those are the things that are on this earth to help you. I mean, right? Let me know if I'm wrong, because I like to know when I'm wrong so I can fix that. I always love building myself up and learning things. But my thing is, this world, none of this stuff that we have in this life is not who we are. It's never who we are. Like really just sit down and think. None of this stuff is who we are. The grass. Here's the grass. It's not who I am. I'm just standing on it. It's not who I am. The clothes that I have, I'm just wearing them. Like none of these are me. These are just the things that I use. You know what I'm saying? And let me go a little bit deeper. Let's go deeper. The anxiety, the stress, the depression, the everything you want to call the name that you deal with, mental things. Those aren't you. Like, really sit down and think. Those aren't you. Those are just things that are just in your mind and your emotions. Those aren't who you are. Those are just things that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And that's a deeper topic. But those are the things that you're just dealing with. Those aren't who you are. Right? Like, and I want to bring this home too, is that most people, and as far as that, like, depression, anxiety, all that stuff, most people identify with those things. Most people identify with that, and they go about life. Hi, I have anxiety, and this is what that's the first thing that they say. I have anxiety, and this, that, and the third, and they go about life having this anxiety that's really not them. It's just what they're dealing with. They can let it go at any point in their life, and they go about life doing this. They take pills for it. They do all this stuff when it doesn't fix a thing. It doesn't fix a thing. But the one thing that will fix that anxiety, the stuff that you call all that stuff, realistically, the thing that will fix that is just not identifying with those things. Those are just things that you deal with. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong. Because it's just thoughts that you get, and then after that, you get the emotion from it, and then you start acting it out. Like that's not who you are. That's just from the thought, right? I'm just thinking simple. That's just from the thought. You know, that's not who you are. That's just stuff that you deal with. You know? I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. But pretty much the thing about who you are, it seems like it's a loaded question, but it's just really not. It's really not a loaded question at all. At first, I did believe it was pretty loaded until I really started to really want to know who I was. You know, there's a lot of people that identify with a lot of things. Their job, you know, being a basketball player, I know a mechanic, and he's so good at cars that he can literally build a car up, break it down, build it up again, break it down and build it up again. Like, that's how good he is, you know? But the one thing that I was just so, like, just really interested about, like, I just had to question myself. I'm just like, you know what? What if he just dropped being a mechanic? Like, who would he think he is? You know, like, who would he, like, how would he look at himself? Like, who would he be? You know, because he's so identified with being a mechanic that if the mechanic stuff just left, who would he be? What would he do? What would his life be like? Would he just get another job? Would he just sit around and do nothing? What would he do? Because I'm telling you, he grew up. I bet you he grew up fixing on cars when he popped out into mama's room. That's how good he was. I mean, good he is. You know, he's still living, but that's how good he is. You know, and that's just when I started to really think about everybody in the world, including myself. All these things that people identify with and people think that's what they are, the relationship, the job, the career, the status, the money, the everything. Imagine if all that stuff just got taken away. Who would they be? Who would they be? Yeah, you know their name, but like, who would they be? You know what I'm saying? Because they're so identified with these things. And that's just really my whole thing, is just like these people identify with all these things and say that this is what they are. But what if all that stuff just dropped today? Like, who would they be? You know, like I just don't know. You know. But look at this. Let me just say this. Imagine if you weren't nobody. Let's just say you woke up and you're just like nobody. You have no name, you have no religion, you have no status, you have no relationship, you have nothing to this world to give. You have nothing. You just wake up and you're just there. You know? Like, imagine if you just weren't nothing. Say somebody calls you ugly. Say somebody calls you broke, poor, whatever the case is, and they call you all these things. You wouldn't be affected by those things because that's not who you are. Let me break it down. Because if you believe and you know that you're not those things, meaning nothing, you're none of those things, how could anything affect you? How could anything affect you? If I know I'm not the N-word that people say that, oh, it's this crazy word, and I reacted to it, I never got mad about it, nothing. Because it's not who I am. Like, what would life be like? You know? You know what I'm saying? Well, what would your life be like if you just didn't react to nothing? Because you knew that that's none of that stuff is you. You know? These little bugs are everywhere. But yeah, like, just imagine that. Just imagine yourself just not reacting to anything. Because you know that these aren't you. You know? These aren't who you are. Because you have an understanding of who you are because you dropped everything. You dropped everything. You dropped all these identities. You dropped all this materialistic stuff that's really not you. It's just the stuff that you use on earth. You know what I'm saying? That's just my premise on that. You know? Just sit and just, you can test this out yourself. Just sit and just, you know what? Let me just try to just drop all this stuff to think that who I am. And just think to yourself, like, who would you be? Who would you be? What would your name be? What would you call yourself? You know? It's just crazy to think that, you know, and like I said, I'm not going to speak on anything that I haven't done myself, you know? But that thing is just crazy because I used to identify with everything that comes in my life, man. The clothes that come in my life, the people that come in my life, the job, the Christian family, all that stuff, everything I used to identify with. But when all that stuff leaves, who am I? Because the clothing was me. The relationship was mine. That was me. I put everything in that relationship. The job, when they fired me, that was me. I put everything in it. You see what I'm saying? But imagine being disconnected from everything in this world. Like, that just sounds so free. I can hardly even talk, man. I'm stuttering. Stuttering now. It's just so freeing to be disconnected from everything, because that will mean things can come in your life, then things can go. And you would have no problem with it. That's true living right there. I'm telling you, that's so freeing. I swear God can strike me right now. That is so freeing right there. Things can come in and go and it just be nothing. That woman that you've been looking at, at that coffee shop, she fine, she got the curves. Woo-wee. She come in your life for a few years, 10 years maybe down the line. But then one day she just flip and change. Normally, the men, oh my God, she's leaving. You run after her. You do everything you got to do to get her back. But this time, you dropped everything though. You're disconnected from the world. You're all this stuff. And guess what? She left. Oh, okay. She gonna say, oh my God, you don't care about me? I mean, you're leaving. You're leaving, so why should I chase something that's leaving? Because things that come in my life, I don't chase, they just come. You know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah, that is like how life should be when you don't identify with all these things in your life. Seriously. And I hope this rings true to somebody, because it rung true to me once I really started to really find out who I was. And guess what? I don't know who I am. And that's okay, because I'd rather not know who I am than to identify with something that I'm not. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can run around this whole field. You like, what? I'd rather be something that I'd rather be no one than to identify with this thing that's not me. If that ain't the truth, I'm telling you, I'd rather be nothing. I'm going to say this one more time. I'd rather be nothing than to identify with something that's not me. You know? I don't know, man. But hey, do as you wish with this thing. I'm just saying, for a test, just one day, just ask yourself, who am I? Don't say your name, because that's just what you are. I mean, that's not what you are. That's just your name. Your job is just what you do. Your religion is just what you follow, you know, and you can say, oh yeah, I'm a human being. No, that's what you are. You know, like the human being thing is just what you are. No, who are you? Who are you? No, Christian. No, that's just who you belong to. I'm a child of God. No, that's who you belong to. Who are you? Tell me who you are. Tell me who you are. Without all those things, tell me who you are. Seems loaded. It seems loaded, but once you know who you are, man, life will be just different, bro. And one thing I'm saying, I don't know who I am truly yet, but I want, right now I'm just saying I'm nothing because I don't want to be nothing. I mean, I don't want to be anything. I don't want to be anything realistically that's just temporary, because everything that's temporary is going to just fail. You know, like the people that were in my life that I thought that were going to be here forever are not here anymore. And that's okay with me, and I'm fine with that. You see what I'm saying? And the things in my life, the job I wanted and all this stuff, I got it, but it's just like it left. It's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna close it right now because it is getting a little dark, and I don't want the Jeepers Creepers to come out, or Michael Myers. So yeah, but nah, look at this view though. It's tough. It's tough right here. But yeah, I'm out of here, man. Peace.